Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome everybody back to Euro Truck Simulator 2, and we got a lot to talk about and a lot to catch up on. But the first and foremost is this, and oh my god, my money is just going down the drain here. I've been having so many problems. First, your truck was crashing, and then they put me in a different truck, and it was just disastrous. So, and I just did not. It was just crazy. And then we have this. What's going on? So I finally get the game to work, and this is what's going on. So, yeah. You know, I really don't know. Luckily, after today, I will be getting a new truck, and hopefully I can be able to get it fixed. But until then, we have to work with it. So we are finishing our trip. Going to San Berners in Ninsburg. Expecting is 1:44 to 8:24 in the morning. So we have a little bit of time. So we should be able to get this going here. I do not want that at all. So let's do that. Let's put on our four ways. Alright, parking brake is engaged. So, as we all know, your truck, ATS will be coming out very, very shortly. And actually, it will be coming out in 3 weeks. So, what I decided to do, which I will be doing on this run, is start prepping for ATS. It's more or less for the people that's new to this game or new to the US world and all that. And we will be talking about whoa, not that. Thank you. Whoa, turn left, turn left. You know, just the different rules and the regulations and the major big difference between your truck and ATS. So first I want to start off by saying the first biggest difference, which us US citizens already know. So it's not so much for the us people that are born and raised in the US. So if this is something that you really don't want to talk about, I suggest you just don't even watch it, because this is what we will be talking about. So the first thing is which way we drive on. Now I can tell you this, and this is the truth. The hardest thing for me when I was driving Euro truck was getting used to and getting used to also which countries drive for on different sides of the roads. As you can see here, the place that we're in now drives on the right side of the street, which in the US is the correct way. But out there, well, and then in a different area or in a different state, you could be driving on the left side of the road. So that was my biggest thing was to learn what side of the street I had to drive on. So the biggest difference, number one, in the US is it doesn't matter what side of the country you're on or the state. You know, you could be driving in California, or you could be driving in New York. You will always drive on the right hand side. Always. No matter where you are. You can be even in Canada, and Canada is on the right hand side. Everybody drives on the right hand side. There is no flip-flop. So that is one thing that you guys, people that are not used to the US, will have to get used to. Just like what we had to get used to driving on the opposite side, you're gonna have to used to it if you're gonna drive ATS. And same thing, once you remember and you learn, okay, no matter where I'm at, I can drive on the right side, you're not going to be used to it because you're so used to driving on the left side. So you're not going to be used to it. So the same laws and physics apply to you guys is, look at the, if there's any symbols on the ground, on the road, such as turn arrows and all that, that's your first indicator of which way the traffic is going. Your second is stop signs, or signs in general. That also includes traffic lights. Look at the traffic lights. If you're going to make a right-hand turn and those traffic lights are facing you, then you know you're going to be going the right direction. But if you make a right-hand turn and you see the back end of those traffic lights, then you know you will be going against traffic. So those are the biggest ones. We're actually going to pass this guy. Alright. So that's the thing. So just remember that. So look at that stuff. It does indeed, come in handy. So take a look, and then you'll know if you're driving on the right side of the street or not. So just do that. Now, like I said, and I know I said this previously, you're gonna have to learn that these trailers and trucks are wider than EST2. So what I would suggest is go find a mod with a truck like this or any kind of American truck, and also start putting in American trailers. Yes, it will be a lot difficult and a lot harder for you in this type of world in EST2 because of the fact that the roads are smaller and they're more suited for the trailers and trucks that you guys drive. But it will prepare you for driving in America. So when the game does come out, you don't necessarily will be blinded and be guessing these ways. You know what I'm saying? So always, practice. Get that in there. Practice now. We have 3 weeks. We have this week, next week, and I think we have a week after that. And after that, that Wednesday will be when ATS will be released, and that will be February. So keep that in mind. We only have 3 weeks away. It's either 3 or like 2 weeks and 6 days and like 16 hours or something like that. So keep that in mind. We don't have much time here before ATS gets released. So practice. Get used to it. And I would say vice versa. If ATS came out first and they had mods with your trucks and your truck trailers in there, I would say vice versa for us getting into your truck is practice. Download those mods. It does help. Get used to it. Drive them each and every day. I know how much you guys love your Scania trucks and your Volvo trucks and your MAN trucks and all that, but I'm telling you, practice. Practice will get you into the swing of things. as I said that, also, I have downloaded American truck trailers. Hopefully, it will work. That is what I'm really hoping for. I don't know why I turned my signal on. Is that it will work, so I can get back used to, driving American trucks and get used to their lengths. That is why I'm also driving with a lot of these, oversized loads because of that feature, so I can get used to it. I'm already used to the trucks. I'm already used to the size and the shape and the windows and all that. So that I'm already used to. But I'm telling you, practice. Because if not, it's going to be really difficult for you to start off. Some of you may think, oh, I got this. I don't need to practice. You do. Because you're going to get off the gate and you're going to crash, or you're going to hit something because you're so used to that trailer being shorter than what it is. And this is, now, not everything I'm telling you will apply to the game. It all depends on how much depth they have put into this game. They didn't put a lot of depth into it. A lot of this, what I'm going to talk about, is not going to apply because it's not in there. And the depth of it is going to be also depend on the city. If they're going to be in depth into the city as much as they say they are, the streets and the buildings are going to be realistic to the real life, and they may or may not put on, stop signs and street signs and pedestrians and parked cars, the stores may be very close to the sidewalk. So, essentially, you might think you're clear and you're turning out of your depot or turning onto a side street, and you're not checking your mirrors because you're like, oh, I got this, I can do this. I drove Euro truck, this is simple. And then you come to a complete stop because, your trailer hit the curb, or your trailer ran over a person, or your trailer hit the storefront, or your trailer hit a mailbox or a parked car. So those are the things that you have to take in consideration, is how long your trailer is. But once again, it all depends on how depth they go into it. That is really what it's about, is how far they want to go into the city and the making of this game. Same thing with the scales that they said that they will implement and put into the game. That is all nice. It creates realism, but it's not going to matter if no matter what you're hauling is going to be accurate, and if they go by the city or the state's requirements on the weight ratios and on the weight on the axles. If they don't do that, then that scale is going to do dilly squat for us. Because no matter what we're hauling, no matter if it's 8 tons of tomatoes or, a house, it's just not going to matter because of it. So you got to get, used to it. So that scale is something that you may need to get used to dropping in, and every time you see a scale, you have to drop in. Now, things might have changed since I remember, but every time you see a scale, the law states that you have to stop. You have to pull in and stop. That is what the law states. So you have to do it. Now it could be a little different, like if you just got your scales and you just got all your, you just got looked at. Okay, it could be a different story, because if that's the case, if you have to stop at each and every one of these, these scales, it'll take you 4 months to drop off your load. So you're gonna have to get used to it. Get possibly used to dropping off at each scale. You know, yeah, I understand that your truck doesn't have a scale. So what you can do is at each and every gas station, stop. Stop at that gas station. Pull in. Even if you don't need fuel, pull into that gas station. And then stop. Wait a little bit. You know? I'm not saying it has to be crazy amount of time, but, you know, stop. 50 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it may be. Come to a complete stop. And then proceed. That's what will get you used to the scales. You know, also it all depends on how depth they are into the braking system. You know, here there's only one braking system. That's your parking brake, and that controls your trailer and your tractor. Unlike the US, there is two. You have your air brakes for your tractor and your air brakes for your trailer. Now, I know I said this before. So if you fail to set one of them, your truck could potentially roll backwards or forwards or whatever the case may be and crash or hit, God forbid, another truck. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want that to happen at all. So get used to pulling both of those brakes. Like I said, you may not have to do it. They may not put that in, or they may put it in later. But rather be safe than sorry about it. Rather get used to it now. So instead of you driving the truck in ATS and then you come back from sleeping and find out that you get a message saying, well, your truck hit, you know, this truck, and now the insurance has to come out and clean it up, and it's going to delay you 12 hours. You know, get used to it. Like I said, and it really depends on how deep they're going into this ATS. That's the question is how depth they're going to go with insurances or crashes and police and tickets. You know, that's the other thing that you know gotta get used to is, unlike ATS, your truck, there's only speed cameras. Here in the US, you know, we don't really have speed cameras on the highways. We have traffic cameras which only captures video. I mean, yeah, I know you can say, well, yeah, video, that captures, you know, your truck. You're right, but it doesn't capture how fast you are going. It is more or less to tell them if there's a traffic accident, traffic jam, so they know to open up express lanes or call out crews, you know, or during the wintertime know what roads are being worse, so they know where to send their trucks. So that is all it is. The speed cameras are only at school systems, and they just implemented that about a year to 4 years ago. And then after that, there's speed cameras, and that's been there for a good, I would have to say, like 5 years, maybe even longer than that. So, but those are only at the traffic lights. Pretty much what you have here. So, other than that, there is no speeding camera. So what you have to worry about and watch out for is police officers. Once again, it all depends on how deep they're going to go in this game. They could do police officers, and they have mentioned it because they had a picture of a police car in there. And one of the questions was, is that car just for show, or will that car eventually, you know, do something, you know, give speeding tickets? Do we have to watch out for that? And the developer says, not yet, but eventually the plan is to put it in there. So get ready for it, because it may come. It may even come now when the game gets released. You may never know. But you don't want to get caught off guard, especially when you're starting. You know, you may not have a lot of money. you may have only $500. And I can tell you this, speeding when you're in a truck is expensive. Once again, it all depends on how much they're going to put these fines too. That's the other thing, is how much they're going to put these fines, you know. So you got to get used to driving the speed limit. Unlike here, which is different in each and every section of the city. Like right now, speed limit says 37. Yeah, bullcrap. Speed limit on the highway, I can tell you now, no matter where you are in the world, is 55. You might get occasional, maybe 60, but that is it. Trucks is 55. That is, if you ever hear of the saying, old double nickel, that's what it means, is talking about 55 miles an hour. Now, don't get me wrong, you can maybe speed a little faster, do maybe 60, 65, and you can get away with it. Cop could be right at your back door, and you can get away with it. But, at the same time, you may not be able to at all. You know, they might pull you over in real life. Whoa, Eric, pay attention. You know, in real life. So, get used to driving 55. Now, in the city, when you're in the city will drop down to 35. Unless, you know, you're in a school zone, which is 60. Not 60, oh my god, that would have been ridiculous. 20 miles an hour. Now, you also may think, well, what if it's not posted? What if I don't know? You're right, you may not know. By state law, if there is no sign posted, automatically assume, or you don't see a sign, automatically assume it is 35 miles an hour. So it's either going to be 30 or 35 in the city. Just remember that. And like I said, the highway is 55. Now, the scales, once again, depends on how lengthy they're going to put these scales. They might just have a plain little, just small little scale, like a, you know, size of that wall to the right there. You know, they could have just a scale like that. That's fine. But in real life, it's a long scale. It really is. And that speed limit on that scale is 15 miles an hour. So you gotta keep that in mind. You gotta get used to it. Speed limit, number one. The size and the length of your tractor and your trailer, that is number two. Third of all is, and most important, the length. What you're hauling. That is the important factor. And how much that has gone over. Whoa. Shit. How much that has gone over. I don't remember me hauling this. I thought I was hauling something else over. You know, when you're hauling an oversized load, you have to get used to that stuff being over your trailer and not hitting these side markers on the road, or when you're in the city, not hitting the buildings or the parked cars. You know, once again, it all depends on the depth. If they go pretty good on this game, I can tell you now, you're gonna have to take up two sides of the street, or two sides of the or both sides of the road. You're gonna have to get through it. That's just how it is. Same thing when you're turning. Whoa, sorry. You know, you might have to make a wider turn. You might have to go into oncoming traffic. Or for you to make a right turn, you might have to stay in the left lane, the straight lane, to make a right-hand turn. You just got to get used to it and pay attention to your mirrors. Because the AI depends on, once again, how they do it. In real life, people don't pay attention. They just go. They just assume, well, you're in the left lane, you're going to make a left turn, or you're going to go straight. They don't look at your turn signals and go, oh, okay, this guy wants to turn right. Pay attention, please. Practice. Practice is the only way that's going to get you at least better or at least comfortable and ready for the release of AST2 or ATS. Get used to it. I'm telling you. Get used to it. Alright, let's see here. No cars. See, now here, if this was ATS, number one, they wouldn't have anything like, well, they might, depends on the city and all that, but they would have a traffic light or a stop sign is pretty much what they would have. Now, I have to figure out what mod. I know a mod is causing, I just remember it's probably a mod, and I gotta figure out what mod it is that is causing these lights, and I'll have to figure that out. I know it's a mod, and I have to figure out what mod it is. I hope it's not one of the new mods. You know, and vice versa, you know. You gotta get used to it. You gotta get used to these long trailers. But most of also, you have to get used to possibly hauling 2 trailers. You have to get used to it. You have to get used to it. And that is, I actually installed 2 of them. So hopefully we can get a next trailer for the next run, so I can show you how difficult it is, number one, to drive with one, but second, how difficult it is to park one, because it is opposite physics. The very last trailer in it, well, in this case, if you're driving 2, your second trailer is going to act normally with your trailer. That's just how it's going to, well, with your tractor. So, in this case, what I'm talking about is if you turn the wheel left, your tractor and that second trailer will go right? No, will go left. Whoa, shit. God damn it. I was not paying attention, not at all. Not at all. Jesus Christ. I was not paying attention. Oh my god, it's just horrible. And I just turned too sharp. There goes my loan, most likely. But anyways, get used to driving these, you know, these trailers. So your left trailer, service. Alright. That was horrible. That really was. I thought I was going to have it perfect, but I did not. So that just ended this way quicker than I thought. But anyway, so the B trailers, you got to get used to them. You really do. You know, so when you're turning left, that second trailer is going to turn left. But that one on the right, the first one is going to go to the to the right. So you got to get used to it. Get used to these roads. Get used to these towns. All that. So, you know, it's not gonna be easy. But practice. Get used to it. That's all I can say is get used to it. How long is this light? Lord Jesus Christ. Ah, there you go. So, get, like I said, just get used to it. It really, it'll help you in the long run. It really will. It'll just help you in the long run. So, well, now that I crashed and burned, alright, come on. Alright, let's see. See, like here, I have to make a wider turn, because if not, my trailer is gonna hit it, or it's gonna run over on the side. So, and that's the other thing. Is like I said, just get used to making wider turns. Alrighty, tidy. So we're here. Even though I crashed, it added in an hour. Sharp turn. Woo! Want to make sure I didn't hit that. Alright. Verse. Whoa, this is not the way I wanted to go. Whoa, and I'm way off. Alright, come on. We can do this. Yes, we can. We can do this. Alright, there you go. Alright. Horrible. Just horrible. Alright, that's not what I wanted. Let's try that again. Alright. Reasonable. Yeah, that was just gay. 16,000. Jesus Christ. Oh well, guys. So, anyways, guys, I will talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit, and we will continue on to the next one. So I will talk to you then. Bye.